Hey guys, and welcome back. So today we are going to be making strawberry jam. Now I froze about 1 punnet of strawberries, which I forgot about in the freezer, and I thought, why not make a jam out of it? So 1 punnet works out to be around about 250 grams. So I'm going to clean them. I'm going to take off the heads because I didn't do that beforehand. Yes, guys, I'm a bit sick, so if you notice that my voice is a bit deep today, that's why. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wet them to get them to not be as cold and not as hard, to make it easier for me to cook them and for me to clean them and to chop them up. So I'm going to take them over to the sink. I'm going to run them under cold water, which I should have put them in a strainer, but I did inside the pot, which was a bit silly of me. And I'm going to just cut off the top of them so they're clean, and then cut them into 4 pieces. So when they cook, as the pieces are smaller, it will cook faster and it'll make it easier later on also when I go to mash them. Now the smart thing would have been either to use fresh strawberries to wash them, then cut them and clean them all in one go. Or if I was going to freeze them, again, not to be lazy before I froze them, and to have already washed them. I'm pretty sure I did, but now I'm washing them anyway. Before I freeze them, to have already have cleaned them, taken the top head off, and then also already pre-cut them, because that would have made this just so much easier. I could have just, from being frozen, put it straight onto the stove. I want to make you guys aware that for this recipe, whether you're using fresh strawberries or frozen strawberries, it doesn't make a difference. Obviously, fresh stuff, fresh fruits have more flavour. It is better to use things that are fresh. But because I already froze these, and because I know a lot of you might be busy and things might be going off, it's a good way to freeze them so then you can cook with them later. So I finally got through them all. They were cold, so I was trying not to grab onto them too much because they were freezing my hands. So I've got them in the pot. I'm going to put it on high heat to start off cooking. And I'm going to add honey to it. So because it was only 1 punnet, I only added 1/4 cup, or just under 1/4 cup of honey to it. I do have a sweet tooth, but I do not like cooking with sugar. I always opt to use alternatives like honey or maple syrup. So we're going to cook this now for 5 minutes. I think everyone already knows this, but make sure you choose honey that you actually like as well, because obviously some of that flavour will be going into the jam. So yeah, make sure it's a honey that you and your family actually like, and then you can't go wrong. Now's the most important part, to make sure that it doesn't burn. So I'm going to bring right now and the honey to a boil, and then I'm going to let it boil for around about 5 minutes. And I'm going to be constantly stirring. Make sure you don't forget about it. I thought at one point, because I was a bit busy doing a few other things, prepping for lunch, I thought that I burnt it, which I didn't burn it, thank the Lord. But yeah, just make sure you don't forget about it. Down below in the description, I just want to let you guys know that I've put the summary of the recipe and also the cooking time. I will do this for every video, so you guys don't need to watch the whole video again, and you've got everything just summarized there at the bottom. So it looks really good. I'm just going to keep mixing it. And this is the part where I actually started getting worried that I burnt it, because I forgot about it for a little bit. So what I did is that I took it off the stove, and then I changed the pot that I had it in, and then I realised it didn't actually stick and didn't actually burn. But say now it did. That's the best thing that you can do. Do not scrape the bottom though. Just take it off, put it into a new pot, and continue cooking it, and make sure that you actually sit there and stir it and do not forget about it again. So now we want to clean the jar. So I did a hot bath with hot soapy water. I washed the jars out, and then now I heat up the kettle, I put other hot water in it, and I'm just going to leave that hot water now in there to clean it out. Now I know a lot of people do high pressure cleaning, and that's the best if you're going to store it for months, or if you want to close it and keep it for like a very long period of time. But for me, because we're just going to eat it within this month, I didn't see it as being essential or needed. As I only made a small batch. If I was making 5 or 6 jars full, then I would go through and either boil them or do them in the oven to make sure that they are thoroughly cleaned. I just heated up a kettle. I washed the jar in the meantime with hot soapy water, and then once the kettle was hot and it was done heating the water, I ended up filling up the jar and the lid, and I just left it there while I continued cooking the rest of the jam to get rid of all the germs that could be on it, and that did a deep clean. So after you've cooked it for 5 minutes on a high heat, now we're going to turn it down to a medium-low heat. So I cooked it between 3 to 5 temperature on my stove. I was just changing around, experimenting a bit to see what it would do because I didn't want it to be bubbling. And you cook it on this medium to low heat for 20 minutes. Now, once you see that the fruit has completely fallen apart, now it looks more like a jam. That is a really good sign. You can then get your musher and actually mush the chunks and make them smaller, make it more a finer consistency. I allowed some big chunks to still be in there, or medium-sized chunks, because that's how I like my jam. But if you guys don't like it like that, you can mush it all the way down so it's a really smooth, soft consistency. So here I'm just trying to show you guys the consistency of it. It's starting to thicken and look more like a paste, so that's a really good sign that you are on the right track and that you are actually making it right and you haven't done anything wrong so far. So the last ingredient that I'm going to add to the jam is half a lemon. So you just cut a lemon in half, take out the seeds so you make sure that that won't go into your jam, and then you can just squeeze it with a fork over the jam, mix it in. And now you can cook it for another 10 minutes on a lower heat. And that's it, guys. Then you can just pour out the water from your jar, add in the jam and close it, and it will seal because of the jar being hot. So I'm just going to give a recap of what we did. So we firstly put in the frozen strawberries. We cut them up, or just your strawberries. Then we added in a 1/4 cup of honey to that one punnet, that 250 grams of strawberries. Then we cooked it over high heat for 5 minutes until it bubbled. Then we cooked it another 20 minutes on medium to low heat. Then we added in the lemon juice and we also mushed it up, and we cooked it for an additional 10 minutes. And then it's ready to serve, ready to eat. So then you can store your jam in the fridge. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.